Afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I am Katie Johnson. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm here to work a little project with you today. So the advertising for the project suggested that it was going to have hearts in it. And hearts are just like really a versatile shape because you can use them. Valentine's Day is coming up in a month. So right now everybody's brains is thinking ahead to what you're going to make if you're making Valentine projects. But oh my goodness, hearts work for everything, right? I mean, they work for weddings, they work for showers. You can just send an I love you card to someone. So I'm still fiddling with my screens just a little bit here. I was going to add to the description, but I'll come back and add it later. I'm going to show you some product from the new catalogs. I can't show you the inside of the new catalogs yet because they aren't live. They will go live on the 5th. But on the 5th, I will be sending out an email to everybody with the links to the catalog in case you don't have the actual catalog in your hand. So make sure that you check that link. I didn't get it posted in time before I started, so I'll come back and add it afterwards. But if you're not on my email list, go ahead and make sure that you're added to it. Then you'll get the links for sure. And if you were a current product customer during the last calendar year, then your catalog from me is already in the mail to you. So let's see, I'm still futzing just a little bit here with these screens. And there we go. All right. Oh my goodness, I can see what I wanted to see. So life is good there. Let me pop this screen down. We're waiting to see the project, right? Coming at you soon. Okay, I'm going to flip my camera down. We're going to talk the thought process through for the layout because it's super simple. And what I'm going to do today, I'm talking about hearts, but oh gosh, you could do this with any die cut or punched shape because I'm going to sponge a little bit of a background and then put something on top of it here. You just want to see it. Let's flip that camera down. Okay, now you're looking down here. So let's just start out then by talking about the layout plan. And then we'll talk about what our options are for hearts. And we'll talk about how you can take this layout plan and use it for, just about anything that you have as a die cut shape. So what I have done, because, I use my little layout book over here, and I'm going to have another page to add to it today. But in my layout book, it's real hard to see white on the white background. So I just use a colored piece of paper for the basic background. This is just your standard generic sizes. So a quarter sheet of paper and then smaller by 1/4 inch because I'm in the US, and then smaller by 1/4 inch because that's what we do when we do a standard layout. And you can change it up a little bit if you want bigger frames or smaller frames, but this totally works. So we can talk about different shapes, but what I'm going to do is sponge right in here and then put something on it. That's the basic layout. So I'm going to write the words right here as a reminder for myself. Any die cut or punched shape. And today I'm going to happen to use a heart, but it's going to go over sponging. So I'm actually going to write this on here. Otherwise, I'll go back and look at my book and I won't remember what I did. So I'm going to sponge some color on there, and then I'm going to add my shape on top. Okay, so you're watching this to get inspiration ideas. Maybe you're watching this because you saw the little blurb that said I was going to do hearts, and you're thinking, oh, yeah, Valentine's. But start thinking about any die cuts you have, any punches you have. I mean, we've got that cute reindeer punch that I used a couple of weeks ago, right? You could put a reindeer on here. You could take any of those cute little animal shapes that they have a die cut that goes with them, and that, think about a little bear, think about a little bunny. Oh, we've got a really cute bunny punch coming up. Any die cut shape. So now your brain is going, what shapes do you have that are your favorite shapes to use? Super simple layout, right? Just sponge some color on, pop that thing on here, and then we'll put a sentiment on the bottom, down on the bottom. Easy peasy. M-E-N-T. Give me a second while I make this actually somewhat usable for the next time I come to look at it. I actually am making this for myself for the future. So I'm going to just do this. I'm going to say sponging. There we go. And then any die cut shape on top of it. Okay, now let's talk about where we're going to get today's heart shape. So today's heart shape, there are a variety of different heart products that Stampin' Up! Has, and I'm actually going to show you 3 of them, 4 of them. I'm actually going to show you 4 of them today. This right here is a punch pack. They're sold together. They're nesting shapes. Okay, so that's fine. This has been around for a while. This is so useful, so generic. I really like these a lot. Not what I'm using today, though, because I have something else fun to show you. However, I am going to just remind you of this little trick. If I wanted to use this layer for my heart, you can take a punch like this and move it way in off the margin. So you're still leaving yourself a nice margin there. And now I can put these things together because I knew I wanted to show you that. Nobody that you give this card to is ever going to know that that hole is in the middle of your layer paper, because you're going to cover it up with whatever pretty thing you put on the front, right? So yes, our cardstock is definitely thick enough that whatever you put on the front, nobody will know that that hole is there. And then I can go ahead and put on that heart and decorate it any way I want to. Okay, this gets put away because we're done talking layout now. Now we're going to start talking about the actual other options for hearts besides this heart pack. So I mentioned that we have new catalogs, and I can't show you what's in them yet, but I can certainly show you the catalogs. This is the celebration, because celebration starts January 5th. What is that? Thursday, I think. And it'll run from January and February. If you're not familiar with celebration, I'll make another post what that's all about. But basically, the celebration, because Stampin' Up! Is so happy that you guys like our product that we celebrate. We celebrate a little bit in January and February. And for every $50 that you buy in product increments, okay, every $50 increment, get something from here. Isn't it fun to get free stuff? Anyway, can't show you what's in there yet because I can't open the catalog and show you the insides. This is the new mini catalog, beautiful purple. And of course, the images you see on the front are some of the product that's in here. I can't show you the actual inside of the catalog, but I can show you the actual product. I'm going to show you one heart option that's in the catalog. Isn't this pretty? I hope you can see when you're looking at it. This is a 2-step stamp set. So you would want to, and they're photopolymer, so you can see right through them. So it's really easy to line them up. But you would stamp the flowers in one color, and you could stamp the greenery in another color. Ooh, I was really excited about that. And it does have a Valentine sentiment in it. But it has these 2 other little hearts over here, and then another little heart right there, and some leaves. And you might be saying, well, why did they print that one upside down? Well, here's the matching punch that coordinates with it. Okay, so at the same time, you punch once, it's going to punch the pair of leaves, it's going to punch the little heart, and it's going to punch the big heart. Isn't this a fun shape? Where's my, oh, I put my papers away, and I didn't save myself. Do I have one? Maybe I do. We'll just go with this. I had a different plan for this piece of paper, but I just want to see what this heart looks like because it's so fun. Look at this shape, isn't it? It's just like a little wonky, swoopy thing. So, oh gosh, now I have to do 2 because I have some ideas. That's why you watch this, right? You're getting ideas. I need to save myself some of this because I have a different plan for this paper. So you could do a card where you like put these like this on the card, but you could also flip it. So now these 2 little swoopies are kind of going at each other. All kinds of fun things you can do when you play around with the paper like that. I'll save those and put those off to the side because while this is awesome, cute, and super, it's also not the product I was going to use today. I will show you one other thing that is part of it because I am going to use this on today's project. This is another new punch and stamp set. It's called Petal Park. And again, you can see same thing is going on here with this one. It's a 2-step stamp set. So you could stamp the foliage in one color and then line up the petals for or line up the greenery, excuse me. So you could do an outline and then fill in with the greenery, 2 different greens. And then you got the same thing going on with the flowers over here. So the flowers, you would stamp the detail and then you could stamp some color over there. I have a whole list of ideas for things I'm going to do with that. But today, I'm going to decorate my heart with this tiny little flower punch that's right down here. Now, those of you who have been around Stampin' Up! For a while, that shape is going to look very familiar. It's very similar to the little flower that was in the strawberry punch. So if you have the strawberry builder punch from a year or two ago, you can do exactly what I'm going to do today because you already have that shape. And then years ago, we had just a little tiny standalone punch. It was only about like this big, but it did that almost very similar, similar in shape and similar in size flower. So again, I'm going to show you the card I'm going to make, but then realize that you could quite possibly do this with stuff that you already had. Okay, I have this out because I want to show you something in it. Not a problem here. This is the catalog. If you don't have this, if you don't have the catalogs, let me know, because I can make sure that you get a paper copy to them, but I'll put the link to this one in the description after we're done with this. Just because I know some people like to shop online, and having that link is just a real easy way to browse. Okay, so let me show you this card right here. This is the basic plan I'm going with. I'm going to case myself today. Casing means copy and share everything. So it's my plan to copy this particular card right here. So I did this one years ago, different flower, smaller, but I'm going to do something similar on today's. And then this was a really pretty heart shape that we had. I think it was called swirly dies. Again, if you bought the not swirly dies that we had out a couple of years ago, you can make the exact same project that I'm going to make today. Sentiment can be down here. It can be Valentine's. It can be wedding. It could just be whatever. I mean, think about the sentiments that you have. Okay, so now where I need to go with this is I need to talk about the colors I'm going to use and the layers I'm going to use and how am I going to get that heart, because Swirly has retired. So in the back of the catalog, I spiral bind mine just because it's easier for me. You can go to an office supply store and have them do that. And I also put labels on because it's easy to find things. In the back, Stampin' Up! Has organized the dies by die bundles, the dies that go with a stamp set. And then, flipping it over, they also have the standalone dies, the dies that don't go with a particular stamp set and or are no longer bundled with that stamp set. Because when I say bundle, what Stampin' Up! Will do is like when this product was new, it does coordinate with a stamp set. When the product was new, you can save 10% and you buy both the dies and the stamp set. And then that bundling benefit goes away once the product moves into its second catalog. But you can see that something like this, it doesn't require you to stamp the images. This is a nice standalone die. As are everything on these pages. They work really nicely by themselves. They don't have to go with a stamp set, and this is the one I'm using today. So when I saw this stamp right down here, the first thing that occurred to me was, doesn't that look like, not exactly the same, but doesn't it look very similar to this, this die from the Swirly die? So that is the reason that I bought this stamp set, or that die set. Now, I have to show you the dice because once I started playing with it, I started mocking up boards. And if you go to any of my in-person events, you know that I use these like poster board things, stiff poster boards that I can put 8 cards on. So I can fit 4 vertical and then 4 horizontal. And so when I sit down and play with something, kind of try to come up with 4 of each to put on that display board. I've got 2 boards. I have 2 boards already made up with projects from this die set and even more ideas. So here's what you get. Oh, that's something different. So here's what you get. And the die isn't in there. I think it's in my other tray. So you actually get 3 heart shapes. You get 2 of the little one and 1 big one. And then once you cut this out, you have the hole. So this is the hole. And I looked at that and I thought, well, gosh, I could maybe do something like that. So I put the inside in there. This was not, when they count 9 dies, this is not one of the 9. This is just like an extra. And then the same thing down here. So you get 4 of the circles, this big one right here, that could actually make just a nice thing to frame a sentiment. Or you could use it as like, make a wreath out of it. I mean, there's just all kinds of do. I'm thinking bubbles, like soap bubbles from a bathtub. Not one of the ones on my list. Now I have 1 more to try making. You get 2 of this small shape because sometimes you want, it's just easy to mass produce. And then you get this long squiggle, I don't know, water. I looked at that and the first thing I thought was, oh, there's a worm because it looked like an eyeball almost. But you could do that, just use it as an accent mark. There's all kinds of things. Actually, I made one where I used it as seaweed going up with the fish punch. And then we have this one down here. Like I say, I've got 2 boards full and more ideas on the way. So I was so excited to get it to do this card again because I love, this is one of my favorite Valentine cards from years past. But we're going to make this card all over again with the new product. I seem to be talking a lot today, don't I? I expect that this may go on a little bit longer than I had intended. Okay, so let me pull out a base and a card front, and then we're going to talk about the layers. Where's my, sorry, if you're watching the replay, you're just going to kind of scoop past forward over there. So here's my model that I'm going with. Let's get myself a card base and then talk about colors to use on here. Because I brought in a bunch of colors. I just wasn't quite sure what to do. Here's going to be my front piece. And see, I got 2 colors actually for the base down here because I wasn't sure if I wanted to frame it with gray, something very neutral like that. So you can let me know if you've got a preference as you're watching this, or even on the replay after it's, of course, all finished, but you'll have a chance to see. I brought in 2 grays because I wasn't quite sure which way to go. And I think you can tell when you're looking at them that there is, I mean, this one looks gray when you look at it, but it's got a little bit more maybe of a peach tone to it, or a little bit more pinky, a little bit more redness to it. So anyway, I've got both of these sitting here, and the choice for which one I end up using is going to be based on, well, this is going to be the leaves. So I've got 2 yellows to choose from here. And then I've got a bunch of different pinks and purples to choose from. I think I am going to use Fresh Freezer for one of the flowers. No, I just had trouble picking them all. So I've got all my samples over here. And I've got my new punch that does all the flowers. So let's get myself a couple of in here. Let's get it from here. Should have cut myself a thin one so I don't, let me do this. I don't want to use up all that paper. So I'm just going to cut a thin piece right here. Usually when I do these, I try to rush through so I'm not wasting your time while you're watching. Today, I decided I'm just going to be relaxed and do this nice and slow and take it easy. Put that over there because I'm going to use it again in just a minute. All right, so there are going to be my 2 leaves. I got something else to show you on that. Let's make all these flowers and just see which one I like. So here is pale papaya. This is the Daffodil Delight. This one is Blushing Bride. This, what I choose also kind of makes a difference with what I sponge. And I do have something else from the new catalog to show you as well. We have new blending brushes in a small size. That's kind of fun. All right, I think I'm liking, with this is a little bit more muted green. I think I'm liking that So Saffron. And yeah, you're sitting there twiddling your thumbs saying, hey, why didn't you punch all these ahead of time? I could have. I just wasn't thinking. Okay, let me get all my papers out of the way here. I think I'm done with that punch, but we'll put that off here. And you're saying, well, gosh, what is that? I'm going to show you that in just a minute, too. Okay, so now I want 3 flowers. How's that combination? Oh, now that I do it like that, that looks better. But I brought in pale pink ink, Blushing Bride ink. Sorry, I usually don't do this. I usually don't have like quiet times in my videos because I try to respect your time while you're watching. I think we're going to go like that. Wait, just You can do it myself. This one was the thing. Here we go. That's why I did it with the hearts. I liked the way the petal pink looked in the sponging because I did sponge a couple of them as practices. And I just felt like that blush and bright was maybe I was a little heavy-handed. Oh, okay. I like that. We got a plan. We have a plan. So it is Daffodil Delight, petal pink, and Fresh Freezer. Got my plan. So let's talk sponging. So all I'm going to do is sponge in this area. And again, you know, Stampin' Up! Used to sell art sponges. They were wonderful. I loved them. They were great big round ones. You might still have some of those at home. Not a kitchen sponge. You cannot use a kitchen sponge because it dries too like rock hard. But the art sponges work. They just were these great big round things and you didn't have a good control over it. You used to cut them up into little wedges and use them. Then Stampin' Up! Came out with and still sells sponge daubers because you do, this is an easy way to add some sponge color and you do have pretty good control with these things. But this is a blending brush, which is all the rage, and they work wonderfully. They're really ergonomic for holding them with this curve and putting your finger on top and controlling how much pressure you have, and they can go directly into the ink pads. So these work really, really well. They are a little bit on the big side, and for now, look at this. Aren't these cute? In the new catalog, Stampin' Up! Has these little mini ones. I'm not actually going to get mine dirty, so I'm going to use this one. But they come all, they're like beautiful, clean, and then you start using them and they get all the color on them. Don't worry about that. I have, see, they come in 3 packs. I think I have 9 of them total, and that covers all the colors that I use. Because to clean them off, I just take myself a paper towel or a microfiber towel and look how red that looks, and you're going like this, and you're not really getting a whole lot of color off of it. And then if you don't like that, take them in the kitchen, put them under the faucet, and just wash them off. That works too. So you're going to see me use that directly in my ink pad. Decided not to use the Blushing Bride. Let's get all these colors out of the way just because I need a little more space to work. And you've already seen what you want to see for color names. Let's pop these little girls up here. So now I'm just going to add some color in the middle. So I'm kind of rotating around to get color all over it. And then I'm just going to make sure that I don't have it too clumpy, too dark. And then I'm just going to start doing some swirls on here. It's adding color. I can see it. Camera is probably not picking it up. So I'm pouncing a little bit harder in my ink pad and coming in a little bit harder. The thing about sponging is that you can always add more color, but you can't take it off if you got too much. All I want is this just a little hint of some color showing through my die cut. Okay, you see that? Hopefully, yes. I'm done. I got the color that I need. It's just going to look not white. It softens the look a lot. All right, let's talk about this and what this thing is sitting over here. So this is a product that is adhesive sheets. And let me bring back in my die cuts so that you can see this heart going on and how I'm going to glue it onto my project. See, I said I save these things because they could be something, right? So there's my one heart. Can't actually see because I'm looking at the Facebook screen, which is delayed time. So then I don't see what's actually happening. So I'm going to look at my Zoom screen so I can see in more detail, make sure I got it in the field of view for you. So isn't that pretty? This is a silver paper. The one I'm using as my model, I did that one back when we sold glitter paper. When I do projects for you guys, I try not to show you anything that you couldn't purchase if you wanted to purchase. And by the way, I have a new host code up for January. So if you use the host codes, I'll make sure that's on the post as well. But this is a product that we do carry. It comes as 3 different sheets, silver foil. And there's 3 different finishes on here. So I'm going to show you these things. This is really fun. So one of them is a really bright silver. The other one is a very muted silver, almost pink, but it's definitely foiled. And then this one is a very dark silver with lines in it. So lots of options for playing with these things. And I used the one that was just a very bright silver to cut these out. But here's what I want to show you. It's different. So first of all, I'm sure you know this already, but I'm just going to point it out for somebody who's new to die cutting. So when you want to pop these things out, you can certainly punch with your finger in any hole that's big enough. And look at this. Wouldn't this make a cute butterfly if you're doing punch art? Especially if you take something like this to the body of the butterfly. That could look cute, right? Okay, never mind. Just one more thing on my ideas for this die set and what I can do with it. So all of these holes are the holes where there's going to be the design in the die cut itself, but these tiny little round ones, these are release holes. So on the back side of that is the paper, and that's just to help you push it out of the die. I only say that not to insult your intelligence, well, yeah, okay, of course, that's what they're for. It's just that when I first learned that, it was way late in the game. I'm going oh, that's something I probably should have known. So anyway, this is adhesive sheets. And what you do with this, they come as 12 by 6 inches. They have they just make stickers, okay? So I did this with one of them and not with the other, because when you turn them over and look at the back side and then start thinking about, oh, golly, where am I going to put my adhesive on here? There are some big round or bigger spots where you can come in with your liquid glue and add adhesive, but isn't it nicer if you can just turn the whole thing into a sticker? Which is what I did. So where the release paper is, you pull it up, and that is the sticky side, okay? So you can see where it's, and the cut is on the sticky side, not the release paper, the saving stuff. Did I say release paper? I missed release folds. But anyway, you put your paper down on here, and then you run it through your punch or your die cut machine, and then you get a little sticker. So that is what I did. Let's just get this thing going here. And then we're going to lay our colors on, and then we're going to decide what we want for the sentiment, and then we're going to put our background layer on. Lots of stuff to do here. By the way, this is so simple. I'm going to do a Valentine class. This was one of my favorite Valentine cards from all time in years past. I think I'm just going to include this as a single bonus project on the Valentine class, just because I like it so much. Okay, so this is the one that doesn't have the adhesive paper on the back. You probably can't even tell the difference. It just looks white to you. But this is the one that does. And then you just look for a place where there's a crack in it, which is right here. Plan that very well. Then pull the release paper off of that. Ah, yes, did not do this well to bring it live by watching, but not a problem. Look how easy this comes off. Yeah. Of course, when you're working with foils, you want to be careful that you're not getting a crease in your foil where you didn't plan for it to be. Just the foil, and then you can smooth it out if you need to. Ooh, yeah, so super easy. Okay, now I don't have to worry about all the liquid glue and smearing that all over. So there was my heart sticker. Down where it needs to go, and then we come in with these guys. And for this, I'm going to use my double sticky tape here on the bottom ends of the petals. Get them ready to go. These guys are going to go on the glue dots. So you heard me talk about and not use the liquid glue. You heard me talk about the double sticky tape. You heard me, or you saw me show the adhesive sheets. Now you're seeing me use the glue dots. Guess how many different adhesives Stampin' Up! Actually sells? It's a ton. So one of the things I always suggest that new stampers do is spend some time with that page in the catalog that shows all of the different adhesives and read the descriptions on them and see how what's kind of a situation you would want to use each one. Because, you know, you got to use the right adhesive for the right situation. You hear noise here. Sorry, I just had to move something out of the way, and the easiest thing is to throw it on the ground. Okay, so let's start to place some of these. Let's see, I'm going to take my purple and put a little bit of a leaf behind it, and we'll just stick this one right down here. Then I'm going to take my yellow one. I probably will want more leaves. I'm going to have my now. Whoops! Oh, I covered up my glue dot with the leaf. That was not smart. Here we go. I'm trying to place this to leave the center because I'm going to put a rhinestone in the middle of that, but I definitely want more leaves on here. So this is, and punches are so easy, right? I mean, dies are wonderful. Dies, you get so many awesome shapes, big, small, with dies, but gosh, punches are just so quick and easy. And this one, I can see myself using a lot, just because 3 different sizes of flowers and a leaf. How easy is that to just add quick and pretty and decorate a little card with that? You can throw flowers on just about anything, right? That needs a dimension. Let's come in with images. Today is so different. It's feeling way more relaxed for me. I hope it's feeling relaxed for you. And of course, if you are fast forwarding, watching on the replay, you're not even hearing me say that. I'm going to add one more leaf since I got them out here. Perfect. Slip that in the leaf. Nope, we're going to go that way. Because it isn't going far enough. And you see the adhesive on there. I still need a sentiment down here. Now we need to decide what we're use for the base layer. So which one goes better? There it is with the gray granite, which looks very nice. The gray granite goes a little bit more with the peach in here. Here it is with the smoky slate, which looks very nice. It goes with the heart. And I guess I'm just going to do this because that's what I have in my hand. I thought it would make more of a difference when I brought in my samples to try, but really they both look good. Okay, so we're going to put this on. Very brave of me since I haven't stamped my sentiment yet. And there's the danger of getting the sentiment crooked, but I'm not going to worry about that. By the way, New Year, New Year's resolution. I want to get more use out of the stuff that I bought, haven't pulled out to play with yet. So this is something else that's in the big catalog, and you can see it's brand new. I haven't even used it yet. You're going to watch its inaugural use to get these things out of the way. But I have to show you why I thought that was such a good idea, and then I just haven't pulled it out to play with it yet. Because nothing wrong with this, just because I have so much other stuff that I bought. You don't do anything like that to you. Okay, so here's what charmed me about this. No pun intended. I just realized this is called Charming Sentiments. That pun was unintended. When I get something new like this, I usually end up throwing away this or using it for scraps or something. I do keep my dies inside here. Oh, this isn't, see how this flips under? So another thing I do is I take that piece of paper and I flip it, because that way, when I'm putting this away, it's only hitting paper. And then the dies themselves go on this side. And then that way they're sitting where I can see them unimpeded. My view is unimpeded by this little flappy thing. But also, when I close the flappy thing, it doesn't catch on the dies and dislodge them. Awesome. Look at that. It's a birthday candle. Awesome again. Look at this. It's sparklers and you get stars. Oh, look, and more hearts if I want to do more Valentines. I have not had a chance to play with this yet. And a little bow. This is so cute. Why have I not pulled this out yet? Just because I've been stuck with other stuff. Okay, so now you're saying, okay, there's the candle and the sparklers and the stars and stuff. What are all these other weird shapes? Guys, this is to cut a framing layer to go behind the sentiment. So every one of these will die cut the sentiment. Cool, right? Very cool. I'm not going to die cut anything today. Just going to stamp it. Wishing you everything wonderful, because that would be great for a wedding, right? Oh, how is it? I like it that they print it on the base. And my biggest pet peeve, and I complain, and nobody ever listens to me. It's like, why the heck can't I just make them all right side up so I can read them easy? Wouldn't that be better? Oh well. If Katie ran the world, that's the way life would be. Okay. Did I bring a block? Yes, I did. Okay, so photopolymer, not a problem. I mean, it would look cute if I was adding another layer with a sentiment, but I don't need to do that on this project. How's my time? I knew I was going to be just relaxed and slow conversationally. Okay, every time you use it for the very first time, I always test it on not my project. So let's just, here's a piece of scrap paper. Worked fine. Okay. So let's go back and ink it up. Wow, I chose something really big, but that's all right. It's going right down here. Cross your fingers. Ooh, got it straight. Okay, pretty good. Otherwise, I would have to just quickly go through this with you and then come back and fix the card. What did I do with my card base? Not that, that's another. Here we go. We are almost done. And then all I have to do is put the sentiment on the inside. So again, I've talked about those catalogs. If you don't have one and don't have any source of one, you want one, message me. I'll make sure that you get a paper copy of the catalog. Otherwise, I will be posting the link on the Facebook page here, so you can make sure that you're just watching for it. But I will also be sending out the link to everybody who's on my email list. So if you're not on my email list, then watch for the link. I'll post it as soon as this is done. And if you haven't already followed my Facebook page, take a minute right now while you're watching this and make sure you're following the Facebook page, because then Facebook will send you notifications when I post new things. Look at that. I did not even so center. Just pull this guy out a little bit. So worked with the Buddha, then squish it down again. Oh, and now does it need another? Yeah, I got one. Why not use it, right? We'll just grab this right here. There we go. Wishing you everything wonderful for your birthday or your wedding. Or I could put a Valentine thing on it. There we go. I cased myself. I copied one of my favorite cards. So, hey, yes, thank you for joining me. And we will catch you next Monday for another live, and be watching for the links to the catalogs. Let me know in the comments what you thought of today's project. And if you have any questions, drop those in the comments too, and I'll get back and answer you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.